Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tek Torrent Podcast. This is episode number 3 of the year. Please let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet, as usual. Today, I'm joined by yours truly, TekShinji and Andrew. We'll be getting to him in a moment. Topics for today. We got Intel. They want to make sand cool again with a cool $20 billion. Netflix wants you to play the Squid Game, so pay up. Microsoft likes games so much, they bought $69 billion worth. The card that's worse than the GTX 1060, AMD's latest Radeon 6500 XT. All that and more in this podcast. Before we get started, I'm just going to do a quick roll call. Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Looks like we got John Z. Hey, John Z. You are in our Discord a lot. I really appreciate you, man. You are one of our most loyal followers. RFC Fed. Not sure who that is. Welcome to the podcast. We got MC. Hey, MC. Welcome, man. Thank you for being a loyal follower, by the way. Fox Protocol Mining. How you doing, man? We got Kai Oni. We got Crypto Shape. Oh, my goodness. Crypto Shape. Everyone, please ban Crypto Shape. We got Laconia. We got Mastermind. How did Mastermind get in here? We fired him a long time ago. Let's see. Yep. And we got MH. And Mine Your GPU. How you guys doing? How everyone's doing a wonderful today. All right, so let me just transition to the scene with our lovely intern, Andrew. How you doing today, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. We got some interesting topics. Looks like we got a good group in the live chat. So yeah, if you guys have any questions while we're talking, just at TekShinji so we see it. But we'll be checking in with you guys in between topics.
That's right, folks. Make sure to @, us. If not, we might miss it. So, Andrew, why don't you tell me about what's going on with Intel? $20 billion to make sand cool again. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so Intel basically announced that they are going to be spending $20 billion on a 1,000-acre plot of land in Ohio, and it's going to be a site for two semiconductor chip manufacturing plants. With the potential of expanding it to 8 in time.
8 plants?
8 semiconductor chip manufacturing plants in Ohio. So right now the plan is for 2, and the 2 plants will create 3,000 permanent jobs, and they expect output from the plants to begin around 2015 is when you'd actually see the chips produced there being hitting the market. So that's actually not too bad of a timeline when you consider how long it takes to make these foundries and chip manufacturing facilities. So I'm thinking Intel right now, they do like to have control over their production. They're not usually hiring out to other companies, but for the new GPUs that are on the horizon made by Intel, they are being made by TSMC. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if this new facility is going to be a combination of CPU and GPU chips, which would make a lot of sense to keep things, in-house so that they have ultimate control over what happens. But TSMC has so much on their plate right now, load from, contracts from anywhere from AMD, NVIDIA, and auto manufacturers. Basically everything goes through TSMC right now. So the more Intel can do on their own, the better. And that would definitely help shortages, definitely help jobs in Ohio at least.
Yeah, I mean, went from, what do they make in Ohio? Potatoes, right? So they went from potatoes to
that's Idaho, but...
Oh, sorry, Idaho, different state.
Yeah.
Before we move on real quick, 56, thank you for the $5 super chat. Bowls of ramen, my favorite.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I'll go get my own ramen right now.
Yeah, get some ramen. I'm gonna have to bring some.
I think he didn't leave a note, but I think that was for me.
For sure.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, Apple has pretty much gone away with Intel CPUs, which is a pretty big deal. That was a big client of Intel, and with Apple going with their ARM-based in-house chips, Intel basically needs to recapture desktop market share, server-side market share, and we're going to see if they can do that if they ramp up production with this new facility. I mean, AMD's pretty much captured the desktop market over the last several years, while Intel sort of just let them slowly. But, this generation, Intel came back with the 12900K being the best gaming CPU you can get for the time being. I don't think AMD will let that fly for too long, but honestly, I hope Intel does well with this new plant. $20 billion is a big investment, so I think they'll do well. But either way, we need to have competition in this market.
Yeah, for sure. So, just for a little clarification, I think you said 2015. It's actually 2025.
Oh yeah, 2025.
2025.
2025 is when these chips will be coming out. So 3 years away really isn't that far in manufacturing.
Yeah, I mean, so Intel has actually been one of the few few people that make silicon-based products that have their own fabs. So like, I believe AMD does not have their fab anymore. Basically, everyone that designs chips don't have Apple doesn't have their own fab. Intel has basically always had their fab. I know they're outsourcing some of it right now due to production limits and whatnot, because they still got to make all them computer chips. It'll be really interesting that, I mean, 2 plants to start, 2 facilities to start, then an additional maybe up to 8 total over next several years. That's I mean, maybe, don't take this the wrong way, but maybe those tariffs are working, because there's crazy tariffs on chips coming in from overseas, which
yeah, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I think it was a very welcome thing. I think Intel may have been convinced by certain government agencies or members of the government to have a plant in this country rather than another country where it might have been cheaper to operate. But I think it's a good thing for the country. I think it's a good thing for Intel. But yeah, I mean, I think this is really, even though it's a big deal, I think this is just step one in a long-term plan. So it will take probably the next 10 years to really see what this does to the market. But yeah, I mean, I think if Intel is making GPUs that are even somewhat decent, they're going to want to take that control back and be manufacturing them themselves rather than sending out to TSMC for them. And that's just a matter of control and profit.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they could have their own controls. So, for example, if TMC has a big order for chips from, I don't know, a phone maker or whatever, they don't have to compete with that space anymore. It's their own fab. They could kind of do what they want. Well, within the business reasons, but they no longer have to be like, oh, we have to delay the release of this Core i9 XC32 or whatever because there's not enough manufacturing production capability. Now they could just be like, yeah, let's do it. And that could potentially lead to better upgrades faster, since we're on 14 nanometer plus. Anyone get that? So that's pretty interesting. Did you have anything else about that Intel stuff?
No, that pretty much covers it. This is a recent announcement, so that is pretty much all we know right now. But they are said to be getting started on it very, very quickly. They'll be rolling out chips pretty much before you know it. This will be a topic of what they're manufacturing rather than what they're going to manufacture.
That's pretty cool, because I do like the idea that it's in the States, so to speak, because we do consume a ton of chips here. I'm wondering, so excuse me guys, still recovering from that human malware. So I do wonder though, the demand for chips as it is right now is not going to be the same going forward, in my opinion. This is a kind of a transitional period. So the fact that they're bringing more fabs online in the United States, is that like a long-term maybe outlook, thinking that they're trying to hedge their bets, saying that the tariffs are not great for business and all that good stuff, so they're making them locally. On top of that, it's kind of nice to have it within the United States. So it just kind of reminds me of something like that. So John Z says, TekShinji, when is the intern's hat coming off? Haha. Intel's upping their game. Yes, so the intern's hat will come off with a $100 donation, or 1 Bitcoin, because cryptocurrency is going to be worthless here pretty soon. Anyways, moving on.
Man. I don't know. That seems like a pretty big difference in value right there. Well, maybe not so much right now.
Not so much right now. Just joking, guys. Don't donate money for that type of stuff. That's reserved for the OnlyFans.
Yes.
Let's see. Techman TY says 2 to 5 years after Intel breaks ground, clean room facilities take forever to build. Yeah. The company I work at, we were considering making a clean room, and it was going to take like 6 months just to even get the area built, let alone get it certified and all that stuff. So I mean, it's a lot more involved than just building a room and making a white. There's like a lot of like infrastructure that goes into that. If you guys don't have any MC, yes, human malware, that's the first. Yeah, so saying the other word tends to trigger the algorithm, so we try not to say that word as much as possible. Yeah, human malware. I got it last Sunday, and I'm kind of gone over the hump, and now I'm at the end of it. I'm more getting the fatigue and like the runny nose and cough and all that are kind of gone. Never lost my sense of taste or smell though. All right, Andrew, did you have anything else on the Intel stuff?
No, I mean, I just think they've given up a ton of market share to AMD, particularly in the desktop and laptop space. And they've lost Apple as essentially a client, also a partner. So they really need to have something on the horizon that's going to get them that market share back. So I think this is a heavy investment in that direction. So yeah, I mean, good luck to them. Like I said, competition is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on to our next topic of tonight. So the 6500 XT, which is in much contention. Let's just go over some quick specs and facts. It only has a 64-bit memory bus, causing a bottleneck. Only uses 4 of the PCIe 4.0 and 3.0 lanes. Now, that might not be a big deal, but here's the thing. PCIe Gen 3 gives about 4 gigatransfers per second. PCIe 4.0 gives about 8 gigatransfers per second, which seriously cuts the GPU's performance. So that's about half. So if you're in PCIe 3.0 motherboard, which is still totally fine, but you put this 6500 XT in there, well, you know what? Screw you. So that's what they're basically doing. It's kind of, you got to be on 4.0 to get the full, just to be clear, it's not very powerful, but to get the full potential of it. Another thing is that there's no encode and no decode support or AV1 decode. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just video codec encoding and decoding, which kind of allows you to watch videos and such and maybe play DVDs, things like that. Netflix and YouTube will soon be adding AV1 options to allow for more efficient streaming and such. So here's the problem with that. After this video card has reached its end of life for being useful as a gaming card, it won't even be good as like a video output card in that sense, because moving on to the future, all these codecs won't be supported on this card. So it'll be all offloading onto the CPU or kind of shifting it around. It just won't be, it's just like, doesn't seem to be a very good card. Performance-wise, it turns out to be worse than an than a RX 588 gigabyte, and worse than a GTX 1060 6 gigabyte. By the way, the 1060 is nearly 4 years old at this point. So AMD is releasing a new card that costs $200, which the MSRP ended up being around $270 to $300. You could buy one on Newegg right now, actually, if you wanted to. They're in stock. And yeah, man, so it's worse than something that came out 4 years ago for nearly the same price bracket. Yeah, the 1060's retail was what, $250, I think. It was under $300, I believe. And it's just like, okay, so this card basically can only exist in today's market. On top of all this, so AMD released an article a while back saying 4 gigabytes of VRAM isn't enough for gaming. And guess what? When that blog post was removed by AMD and people noticed, they promptly put it back up, being like, yeah, you caught us. Well, we didn't ever take that down. So that was pointed out by some other influencers and other news articles. And that was pretty funny, because yeah, 4 gigabytes is enough for gaming. We need at least 6 or 8 gigabytes, man. And then they go out and release this card. It's kind of like they got done making all the good burgers and they took all the leftover pieces and they just like squished it together and pooped out a card. Because, you know, people are going to buy it if it exists in this market. Pretty disappointing, guys. So, Andrew, what do you think about all that?
Honestly, I think it's an amazing card. I can't wait to get my hands on one. I'm going to run out right now, and hopefully Micro Center still has some because I need one right now.
Yeah, you need to go get one right now. They're still open. If you go right now, they're open until 10 o'clock.
Honestly, I have a different opinion than most of the tech journalists. And that's just that right now, $200 is the MSRP. $200 doesn't get you anything else, basically. It doesn't get you anything else.
GT 710?
Yeah, like I think even like a 1050 Ti is more than. So, on eBay, used.
Yeah.
Or just the used market in general. But, I mean, I think for $200, if it's enough for you to finish building a gaming system, you can upgrade it down the road. I think it's okay. I think it's okay for that. Or a super budget gaming machine. I think you could probably make a rig for like $500 with this card. If you have like a 6-core AMD CPU, this graphics card, and a micro ATX motherboard, maybe like, I don't know what. No, you wouldn't even need more than like a 400 watt power supply, but like 500 watt power supply. I mean, I think that might be just a card that someone who isn't really into PC gaming could get into PC gaming on a really tight budget. Almost like a throwaway card. And I know $200 isn't something you should just throw away, but in this market, it basically is. You don't get anything for $200. $300 is a different story, and unfortunately we do see MSRPs up to $300. I think it's the Gigabyte triple fan card that is $299, and I don't recommend anybody buy that personally, just because this card doesn't need a cooler with 3 fans to begin with. It barely needs one with 2, and the $199 option is a single card fan, at least one of them. Single fan card rather. But unfortunately the encode and decode features that have been cut from it make it a little less than ideal for like a home theater PC, which, you know, in the past a low end card would be sufficient for, you know, for some couch gaming or streaming and stuff like that. But yeah, this kind of handicapped it by not having those features either. So with that being said, is 4 gigabytes enough for gaming? Honestly, I think it probably, I don't know. I mean, I would say if you play it on low enough settings, if you play it on low enough settings, I think most new games on low at 1080p probably use right at 4 gigs. But, you know, whether or not you're going to be exceeding that or not is going to affect your gameplay experience. So, you know, at least right now, right this minute, we are a week before the 3050 comes out, and not to bring that up, that's a topic for another day, but to have a card that is supposedly only $50 more MSRP with double the VRAM, I think it's definitely a time to wait and see, not run out and buy.
Yeah, 100%. And just to kind of touch on that, definitely I would wait till reviewers had a thorough opportunity to like fully test out the card. A lot of people try to get those day one reviews up, and maybe they haven't tested everything yet, because there's a lot of weird things that happen when you start, you know, trunicating cards like that, cutting the ability of the cards like that. For example, Magic Lucky has said that let me go look at the note here. He said that he saw a video of a reviewer saying that he's getting out of memory crashes trying to play Fortnite on a 6500 XT. So that might be related to something else, but like I said, when you start,
would be an issue with the, like, you just need to play it on low or something.
Yeah, like
you know, if you run it on high just because the frame rate is there, like even if it's capable of the frame rate, it might not have the capacity and memory or the texture packs that come with playing it on medium or high or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's 4 GB memory buffer is not a lot, but I mean, it's not. It's totally fine for like every game. I'm sure every game will start on it. Like, how about that? Like, every game will play on it. As for the highest frame rates and all that, probably not. But
yes, so, some games will, in the menu, in the video settings, will say, if you pick these settings, it's going to use this much VRAM. That's pretty useful for a card like this because you are going to need to stay within that limit if you want to have it be playable. It's going to really slow down if you exceed it or otherwise crash.
yeah, I mean, games like most modern games, when you go into the settings, it tells you how much VRAM it's going to take. And I mean, I got a 3090 and I don't get anywhere close to the 24 gigabytes of VRAM in that thing. I think the most I've ever seen is 8. Like, I forget what I was playing, maybe Doom Eternal or what was Halo or something. Never went past 8, at least in practical use for me. Just some stuff from the chat here. Magic Lucky says, a fully water-cooled 6500 XT rig has TekShinji's name on it, doesn't it? If you watch the Gamers Nexus teardown, I think you can literally just put like, I don't know, an eyedropper on it and that'll be sufficient water cooling because the chip is like so tiny. It literally looks like we extracted it from an APU of a CPU of an AMD CPU and then put it onto a board by itself and then took away all of its features. I don't know. I'm just saying it kind of looks similar to that. It's a little bit better than the APU according to the Gamers Nexus review, but it's not really that much great. But back to Andrew's point about it being a decent value in the current market, I agree with that. It's just I'm the type of guy that doesn't like to spend money just to get away with it because that money could have just been...
It might be a decent value for the next 5 days because once that 3050 comes out, everything changes.
Dude,
honestly, I think this, they're supposedly making a 6400 as well. I think this 6500 XT probably should have been the 6400.
Yeah, that would have made more sense actually. Like, because the 6500 XT just seems like the new bottom GPU. If they make anything lower than that, I wouldn't give that to my kids. Like, no matter how bad they are. D-Miners in chat. Real quick, D-Miners in chat says, I wouldn't do that to my son. What's up, TekShinji? How you doing, D-Miners? Thanks for coming by. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, like, I think, like, when you look at a 5500 XT, the last generation X500 XT SKU had 8 gigs of VRAM. So it seems like a downgrade from the last generation, which is why I think it would have really only been appropriate if it were tiered down like a 6400, and it would have made sense. And if it were a little cheaper, fine. But honestly, I think in this market, a $200 GPU is a $200 GPU. I don't think we're going to see $100 GPUs or $150 GPUs.
Not new ones.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I think that MSRP is a thing of the past anyway. That market, I don't think we need it because any GPU that's ever come out, the real low end of every generation, is really a card you don't want. I'd rather have the last generation mid-tier than the current generation bottom of the barrel card.
Yep.
And it's like that every generation. So, you know, I'd be totally fine with the cheap cards just not being made anymore because, well, personally, I don't have any problem buying used cards because they usually don't tend to fail dramatically within the first 5 years of their life. So, you know, if a generation is 2 years old, then, you know, buying a 2-year-old card isn't going to faze me, especially when companies like EVGA have 3-year transferable warranties. So that's pretty much all I have to say about it. But yeah, anything else on that? What do you got?
I just want to read some stuff from the chat. 56 says, MC, no memory loss, straight profit on chips that didn't make the cut on what they were supposed to be. Yeah, I think so, man. That's pretty accurate. Excuse me. I think what AMD is doing is very business minded and not very consumer minded, but I also understand they got to make money. So that's probably all I have to say about that. We're probably about to move on to our next topic here. The last thing I would probably say is that the thing about the warranties on used GPUs and all that good stuff, I personally have done very well with used GPUs. I'd say half the GPUs I've ever, not half, a quarter of the GPUs I've ever had in my entire career, my life, were used. And in fact, there was this one case where I bought a 1080 Ti used, and it broke. It failed. One of the fans stopped spinning on it. And I contacted EVGA. It was within 3 years, right? And I sent it in for RMA. I paid for all that. Then they surprised me by sending me back a 2080 Super. So, I mean, arguably I got a better GPU in that amount of time, and the warranty didn't reset or anything, but it was great. So I don't think used GPUs are as bad as people say they are, especially if it comes from those people that do deep machine learning 24/7. They tend to know what they're doing and clock their GPUs correctly to make them last longer and be more efficient.
Yeah, 100%. And I think all the cards are pretty robust regardless. There are worse things in the environment for a card than just temperature alone. So,
like vaping.
yeah, for one. But what else? Anything else in chat we have to address?
I'm looking over it, making sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah, pretty much just talking about the 6500 XT and how it's not that great and all that stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I think if it were tiered down in name, it would just make a lot more sense. But knowing that we have something worse on the horizon from AMD, it's a little scary.
Yes. It better be $100 GPU, that's for sure, because then the MSRP is going to be $175.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's going to be. I'm wondering if the whole reception of the 6500 XT is going to affect AMD's plan of releasing that card, or at least the price point where they had intended it.
Well, here's the little sign is that it's still in stock on Newegg right now, and you can go buy one right this second. So, maybe AMD's
so I think,
Go ahead.
They released the card at $199, and there were some SKUs, some samples from AIBs and whatever power color I think had the $199 price tag on their base model. But the ones that are in stock seem to be around $270. And it just seems to be not so much that they have an abundance of cards, but rather that the market is determining that's more than it's worth.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is unsustainable. This high price of GPUs, it's gonna end one day, just like it did before, 3 times before. This is unprecedented, yes, but it's not gonna be like this for the next 5 years. No, I'd say within a year or two we'll be back to normal. You buy a GPU, you can't sell for retail anymore. I think those days are coming sooner than later. Real quick in the chat, some goblin loser IDK donated a super chat, $1. I don't see any message. Is there a message in it? I don't see a message in it, but they posted a bunch
some hearts after, but
a bunch of orange hearts. Thank you so much, some goblin loser. Really appreciate it, man. Come join our Discord, man. Come join our Discord and say hello. I'd love to see you there, man. All right, so let's just move on to the next.
That's a good message to give to everyone watching that's not already in our Discord too.
Yeah, that's right. If you guys didn't know already, apparently some people that aren't in the cool club yet, right? We do have our own Discord, the TekShinji community Discord. That is linked in the description of every video that is released from our channel. You simply click on that link and it'll take you to our Discord. There is a little bit of a process to get in. However, if you're having issues, please let me know and I'll try to help you out with it. There is a video that actually shows in all the process that will help you get into the Discord if you do not know how to do it. It's a step-by-step guide on how to get in. Our Discord process is a little bit different than most people. This is just to kind of keep out anyone that might have nefarious intentions. All right. Andrew, did you have anything else about that?
No, let's keep moving on.
All right. So let's move on to Netflix increasing their prices. Now, I did a lot of research on this, and it's pretty kind of, a lot of people saw this coming. I really haven't been paying attention until my bill's about to go up, so you know that's how much I pay attention. But here we go. So average of $1 price increase over all regions, which will roughly increase revenue around $2 billion. Netflix is increasing prices in the US and Canada by 11%. They are now the most expensive service in the United States, more expensive than HBO. The basic plan will now be $9.99, standard plan will be now $15.49, and the premium will be $19.99, all in United States dollars, by the way. So they're increasing their prices because the beginning of 2020, they had a surge of subscribers coming in, flooding in. Of course, they increased their prices back then as well. Now, going forward, they're predicting they're going to have they're saturated into the market and kind of flatlined. That's one thing bad about having these spikes, is that after the spike, you kind of have no growth or less growth. So Netflix's own prediction is that they're going to have less growth or lower growth going into the future. But one thing interesting is it appears that their revenue per subscriber has increased, which shows that perhaps they are in fact having more subscribers with premium options, because we all know, I'm guilty of it too, allegedly password sharing, right? So Netflix has been kind of putting their foot down as of lately about password sharing, but there's more higher tiers that allow multiple screens to be used at the same time. Now, one thing that Netflix does that a lot of other places don't, they tend to release all their episodes at once, which allows for binge watching, which can cause a dynamic where people pay for a subscription, binge it, and cancel it, wait till something good comes out. Unlike HBO, Disney Plus, Amazon, etc., they tend to release episodes one at a time or week by week, which tends to keep people subscribed. Or you could be like me and wait till the whole season's out and then go subscribe and watch it. So that's the dynamic that's different about Netflix. Of course, with all that money they're making, they've been having a lot of successes, right? So successes like Squid Game, a lot of final seasons such as Ozark debuts this year, a lot of other special content coming this year, and a lot of content that is original to the Netflix platform is coming as well. Because of all the human malware delays, all that is finally starting to catch up. So that revenue is going to increase to better content theoretically. I mean, look at the success that Squid Game has taken, and that's taken the world by storm. Like, there's I don't know of almost anyone that has never heard of it. Not everyone has seen it, but basically every time they have a success, they increase prices. And being that they're projecting by themselves that they're going to either lose subscribers or plateau in total subscribers, this makes sense for them going forward. On top of that, I don't know, kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I also understand their business. They got to make money. This is how they got to do it. Andrew, did you have, of course you got some stuff to say about that. What do you got to respond to that about Netflix increasing the prices?
Well, one thing I really like about Netflix that the other services don't seem to do is their mail-in DVD program. You know, I use that religiously. And oh wait, is that not a thing anymore?
I don't think that's the thing anymore, bro.
Oh, never mind then. Now what I have to say is, I think they've done well with their self-made stuff made in the Netflix studios. That they've been making a lot more content themselves in-house, rather than buying up movies and shows to put on that already existed. But the thing is, Amazon has their own studios. Disney definitely has their own studios. So there is a pretty high bar to maintain in order to be competitive with those, alternatives in video streaming. Not to mention the fact that basically anyone who has streaming services that's maybe trying to save a little bit of money each month, if they say they can save $10 on Netflix or save however much on Amazon Prime, they're probably going to cut Netflix. Prime shipping is, integral to most of our lifestyles at this point. Mm-hmm. So, and it includes Prime Video. It doesn't seem like an extra cost. You're already paying for it. So if you're trying to cut money, unless Netflix has something that you're pretty attached to, it's probably going to be Netflix to
Stargate.
Well, there you go. But beyond that, yeah, I mean, the projected earnings, their earnings report came out. They fell short of expectations on quarter four, and their projection for Q1 of 2022, 2.5 million new subscribers, which last year was 4 million. Not looking great to be down over last year. So between those two things, the stock took a pretty big hit, which, I don't think the market was wrong there. I think it's not looking great for Netflix. I mean, they're a big enough company to figure out a way to survive, but right now I think they're in some tough times, and they need to take an action, and maybe raising the price wasn't the right move. I get that to make money, if you're not getting new subscribers, you need to raise the prices in order to make more money. But if you're not offering a service that is worth it, then you might have the opposite problem of losing existing subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You're going to increase revenue by increasing prices, but also you're going to perhaps lose some of your subscribers because they're like, what, $1 more or whatever more it is? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm already paying, for Amazon Prime Video and, Amazon Prime and Netflix and, Disney Plus and HBO Max Plus Super Ultra, whatever. I mean, it's kind of looking like cable again, guys. Like, remember why we all cut the cord on the cable? Is because we got all this crap we didn't want. There was this monthly fee that we couldn't do anything about. And then we had these boutique services that we could pick the things we want. Well, they're kind of coming into it full circle almost. But I think maybe increasing prices wasn't the best option because they're losing subscribers, but maybe kind of pull like a Microsoft, right? Invest more within themselves to bring more content, which they're already doing. But they claim that they're going to use this price increase to use that revenue to bring more content, which there's actually no original Netflix shows that I like a lot. This is some unpopular opinion. I actually don't like Stranger Things that much. I like the first season, but the rest of it just doesn't have that, like, it got too popular and it just kind of shows, in my opinion. Squid Game was pretty cool, but for a Korean drama, it's pretty subdued. But a lot of older TV shows that I really like are still on there, so I like it a lot for that. Just looking at chat here, so Magic Lucky Magic Lucky says, I like to mail in my Netflix DVDs after I finish playing Solitaire with my 6500 XT. Well, when you play Solitaire, make sure you don't have too many cards on the table. You might run out of memory to render all those cards. So yeah, let me just look through the chat here. If there's anything else about that. Some goblin loser IDK rest in peace DVD straight to your hard drives. Cut out the middleman altogether. Yeah, I used to rip DVDs back in the day. DVDs that I own, of course, to keep my own digital copies. That way I'd have to get the DVD out every time I wanted to watch it, obviously. Yeah, so I think it's kind of fine. I mean, I'm not going to cancel my Netflix subscription. I have the premium plan, and, several people use it. I share subscriptions with Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus with a bunch of people I know in my own little circles. So we all pay, like, I pay for Netflix, someone else pays for Disney Plus, and we share the subscriptions within a little group of 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, I think if you're paying for single screen Netflix, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, it's like $10, dude. For double the price, you could, like, even if you did the thing where 3 people just chipped in. I mean, they didn't say it had to be only 3 people. You know what I mean? Like, it could be like 10. Just can't all be on at once.
Yep.
All right, so Andrew, do you have anything else on that?
Yeah, we got a few more chats. We got some people who like the show The Witcher on Netflix.
Oh, I might have missed that.
It's quite popular. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of it's a video game that got turned into a show, and I guess it's one of the few video game based movies, TV shows that were actually good. It's
actually fantastic. The production value is amazing.
Oh, really?
I think it's very filmic. and it's
Very
it's basically
cinematic.
like watching a cinematic. Yeah, it's like watching a blockbuster instead of a show. It really is
Really?
well done. Yeah,
Like Lord of the Rings quality, or what are we talking here?
yeah, I would say it's up there. I think
Really?
if you're not familiar enough, you should give it a watch.
Okay, I give it I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try. Uh, John Z says, TekShinji, Netflix will become internet of blockbuster. LOL. Yeah, I think the last blockbuster closed like what, 2 years ago or something. They only had one left. It was only like in name only. Like the company actually collapsed. I don't know. Netflix has really transitioned from online, like Netflix, like you order your DVDs online and they come in. They've really transitioned from that to a like production company making their own unique content. And I don't know. It's fine. Like it's kind of cool to see other production companies other than the big like Paramount and all of them. You know, all these like Amazon, you know, Disney, all these like smaller companies. Well, relatively speaking, smaller as in newer production companies coming on and making new content. I mean, I think it's good. I like The Expanse a lot. One of my absolute favorite sci-fi TV shows. It is one of the best space operas ever made, in my opinion. Fight me later on if you like. But that's on Amazon Prime Video, and Jeff Bezos liked it so much he saved it, allegedly, from season 4. Some goblin loser says, TekShinji, a book, then a video game, and now a television show that is amazing, or amazeballs. D Minor says, Witcher's bomb. TekShinji, you love it. All right, guys. Maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll dip my toes into it. I'm behind on the times.
I mean, it was much anticipated for the second season. I haven't watched the second season yet, but because of COVID, it was delayed. So you have quite the opportunity to binge watch.
Yeah, definitely. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my Netflix subscription has been not canceled for like the last 7 years. I don't know. I've had it for a long time. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. Okay, so Andrew, did you have anything else on the Netflix stuff?
Yeah. Did you read anything about Netflix wanting to get into gaming, or is that did you not come across that?
I did not come across that. I heard some blurb about that like last year, but I haven't really heard about it. So why don't you tell me about that? That might be kind of a big deal.
I honestly don't know. That's why I was asking.
No, I mean, I would have to look it up, but I haven't prepared anything. I would say this, though. Just like how there's Geico Gaming and Facebook Gaming, it might be just in name only, and that they're like outsourcing through a third company. Like, oh, this is sponsored by Geico, so we're calling it Geico Gaming, but Geico doesn't actually have like a gaming company within its own company. You know what I mean? I think it might be one of those. But Netflix maybe, because they're already streaming stuff. So what? You buy your, Shadow Play NVIDIA box or whatever, and Netflix has some games you can stream through it. I don't know. Maybe
I mean, honestly, I think going forward, there's going to be a lot of companies that are into that type of thing. So, especially the big ones that are already into streaming video, I think it's logical that, they want a place in your living room. So, whether that's movies, shows, video games, it's all somewhat similar in that sense. I think it's can move on to the final topic, which is in that vein anyway.
Yeah.
So in the
ahead.
largest deal of video game history, Microsoft announces it is going to acquire Activision Blizzard
Oh,
for a sum
snap!
of $68.7 billion or $69 billion.
Nice.
Well, I guess I can't round that up since that would be an extra $300 million.
Almost 69 billion.
Yeah, almost 69 billion, which is a crazy sum of money for any deal, let alone a video game deal. So, what does this mean? Who is it going to affect? Well, it's pretty much going to affect everyone, right? Anyone who plays video games at least is going to be impacted by this, but probably even going beyond video games. So, having as much ownership of different video game studios that Microsoft does at this point, especially after this acquisition, it'll basically be, if you're a gamer, you're going to be playing a game that's under the Microsoft umbrella at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I know the two of us, at least, we have Xbox Game Pass for PC, and other than the constant network issues and multiplayer lobby kickouts and
Oh my god.
random crashes, it's a great service. I mean,
it's free to play, so you can't complain.
well, that your game is. Well, I mean, it's free to play, but I pay for the Xbox Game Pass subscription to play. So, but yeah, beyond that, the things that this deal might impact. Well, let's break it down. Activision Blizzard. So Activision Blizzard is probably a household name. It's been around for, I think it was founded in 1994, right? That makes sense? I think so.
Yeah.
But we're talking about titles like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, I believe. So these are titles that are pretty mainstream and, in many cases, cross-platform. So what does that mean for, Microsoft purchasing the company that owns Xbox, that produces the Xbox and its complete infrastructure? Are they going to be sharing these titles with Sony for the PlayStation series? What do you think?
Ooh. I think it'll be stupid of them to not, because that is a major demographic. That's a huge chunk of the gaming market. So I don't think Microsoft will be dumb enough to limit themselves to say no, only on the Xbox, because that's going to royally piss a lot of people off. But then they can if they wanted to. It's their game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to if there's going to be someone to step in and say you can't be that anti-competitive by restricting this many games to only yourself. And it would really be squeezing Sony to produce their own games at that point. There aren't going to be that many titles that would be cross-platform that aren't made by Sony Studios or some game studio under Microsoft at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when, like the Call of Duty series has always been cross-platform. But, if it suddenly wasn't on PlayStation, what does that mean? Are people not going to buy the next PlayStation? Now, I have heard that regardless of the ultimate outcome or decision that Microsoft makes in that sense, they will be honoring existing contracts. So that's not going to be something that we're going to worry about just yet. But in response to the acquisition announcement, Sony stock did fall 13% on Wednesday. So,
13%.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty significant hit.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool that, Microsoft having all this game development power to have some interesting new Xbox exclusives. But I think following the Netflix discussion, I think this is a big push towards building a subscriber base. And that's referencing Xbox Game Pass, which if they integrate a lot of these titles into Xbox Game Pass, it would make sense to sign up for the monthly fee that you never really cancel and become a Microsoft customer for life. I think that's probably Microsoft's one of their major reasons for doing this deal is to grow new subscribers, bring them to Xbox Game Pass, if not the Xbox itself, Xbox Game Pass for PC.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe talking about what we just talked about, maybe Xbox Game Pass for PlayStation. What do you think? What do you think of that?
Xbox Game Pass for PlayStation?
Yeah.
Dude, like...
It sounds wrong. It sounds like I'm saying a swear.
It does. It sounds like something that would never happen. Like hell would have to freeze the river first. But hey, we've seen things like when the Intel Nook, right? AMD and Intel right? An Intel chip and AMD graphics on the same substrate on one of the NUCs. So, I mean, it's happened before. I think if it makes business sense, why not, right? Hey, I like money is probably what Microsoft's saying. And Sony will probably be in less of a position to say whether they can or can't, right? Because what are they going to do? Just lose all that games on their platform? I mean, you could only play Metal Gear for so long. You know what I mean?
Microsoft is no stranger to monopolistic or anti-competitive lawsuits.
Antitrust?
Yeah. So I think they kind of know how to dance around that to avoid such things, but it's a big deal. So in addition to basically Game Pass and having some Xbox exclusives potentially, this deal it dwarfs Take-Two's acquisition of Zynga the week prior,
Yep.
which was an effort to capture mobile gaming market share for Take-Two. But Microsoft isn't just sitting idly by. This deal includes King, which is a mobile and social network gaming developer and publisher responsible for Candy Crush, and that was acquired by Activision in 2016 for $5.9 billion. So Microsoft is getting a big chunk of mobile gaming as well with this deal.
I wonder. So Microsoft is getting all this game real estate essentially, right? How are they going to be able to manage all that? Like, will the games that we know and love continue to get worse as they have been? You know.
Well, the game development companies that they already own, like Bethesda, seem to operate under Microsoft, but not particularly micromanaged. It seems like Microsoft tries to give them enough leash to do their own thing and maintain their identity. But they have enough power to really go in and do what they want with it. So I think a lot of it is intellectual property that they want to acquire, not necessarily to change the way the companies work, but rather to absorb the companies and what they contain, similar to how Disney, has taken over the Marvel franchise, Star Wars franchises.
Yeah, for sure.
And done their thing with it without, you can argue that they've changed them quite a bit, but in some sense, they didn't take the identity away, but they have just developed it further. And obviously for quite a big profit.
Yeah,
but I think... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so a big thing for this, Microsoft's heavy into cloud-based servers, cloud-based services. So I think they're targeting cloud gaming as well. And, there hasn't really been a streaming service, a game streaming, cloud-based gaming service that has stuck out to be like, you don't need a gaming PC anymore. That seems like a great option. There just hasn't been one that's hit quite so well, hit the mark.
We're close, but not with mainstream titles. It's all like lower end games.
Yeah, I think Microsoft has the cloud knowledge. I thought Google did as well, though, in fairness. And Stadia just doesn't seem to be the golden ticket. But
low latency games. Games where latency doesn't matter. It's okay.
Yeah. So I think with this, we can't really get through this without talking about MetaVerse. So having all this intellectual property and game development, it's a huge push, I think, into MetaVerse. Facebook is now Meta. They're not Facebook. So as a company. So I think it would be a big deal to push virtual reality and more specifically augmented reality, mixed reality with Microsoft's HoloLens technologies. I think this is a pretty deliberate push into the future of whatever that means. Augmented reality, not just for gaming, but for MetaVerse, for industry, for research and development. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say it's not a huge deal when it really is. It's a huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, like, so MetaVerse is going to be this new thing, right? I think it's a little overhyped, but I think Facebook has enough power to kind of force it into being, so to speak. Microsoft acquiring all this game stuff. I don't know, man. Are they pulling a Kodak where they're just going to get all this real estate and then it's just going to die? I don't think that's going to happen, honestly, but my biggest concern is in the good old days, or whatever you want to call it, when games were like not as cool as they were today and as popular and as much of a cash cow, games were legitimately like worked hard upon and all that. Today, monetization in video games is like the primary goal, essentially, more so than it was before. Because of that, I feel like a lot of games are engineered and designed for free to play and microtransactions and all that, like literally built into the gameplay. Because of that, I wonder if that's going to be the new feature going forward, and we're just going to have to accept it as the games become more monetized, so to speak. I mean, think about every game that's been released, right? I don't know of any game where you just buy it and you play it and that's it. There's always like some addition or something you can buy or whatever, right? There's probably a few like indie titles and stuff that you could just buy and that's it, but it seems like a lot of the mainstream titles are starting to go into that path. And I think that's really going to change the gaming industry I mean, we can see Microsoft spending a ton of money buying Activision. Also, they might have gotten a good deal, I guess, because something Jay-Z said that they might have taken a risk by buying Activision at a time like this. I think it's kind of like, ooh, they're down. Let's get that for a good price. So, I mean...
Well, they are paying, I think, $95 a share. So, I do think, Activision hasn't been in the best light as of recently. So, this is a chance for Microsoft to sort of rebrand the brand as taking a little bit of the controversy and leaving that behind, but driving the game development forward that we've known for decades. But I think, the one thing we can say for sure is that the subscription model isn't going anywhere, and I think it's only going to expand. They're not going to target making these games and not push Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
gonna be.
Let's just say they offered a streaming service, and let's just say they offered a device that, hooked up to your TV and you could just play all the latest games, right?
No
Wouldn't
Xbox
that
required?
be amazing? They could call it an XBlock. It would be amazing.
XBlock. The XBlock.
Honestly, I think it would be really cool if they could take some of the technology from Activision for the actual games, integrate that with some of the mobile gaming technology from King, and then take the Xbox team on the hardware side and make something similar to an Nvidia Shield or even something like a Fire Stick, and have a gaming experience that's based solely on subscription with a low entry hardware cost that makes it attainable to everyone.
Oh, you mean you don't have to pay $2,000 to play Halo at 60 FPS?
That's right. Yeah, you can just play. Well, I think it would really be possible, especially with cloud games.
Yeah, especially with like micro networks and servers that are literally like 10 or 15 miles away from your home, like all these little tiny servers. Then the main cloud server will just push updates or something. Like that's something they're trying out in Japan right now, and they're having some crazy low latency gaming. Like we're talking like it used to be the standard 100 milliseconds, like 1 second essentially. Now it's like 50, 25, which is like normally what I get anyway gaming. Real quick, we got Serpent Special Forces in the chat. Welcome for coming. Thank you so much for coming by. He's an awesome YouTuber as well. Crypto Shape is also in the chat as well. How you doing, Crypto Shape? Thanks for coming by. Well, let's see. Serpent Tech says Phase 3 WoW release this coming week. Been waiting on that for a while. Things got a little delayed due to their silliness at the office. Looking forward to possible progress Microsoft would make. Yes, I used to play WoW back in the day. I have since gone to therapy and WoW anonymous sessions, and I have now broken my addiction. Didn't they actually get in trouble for like their subscription base was not what they said it was or something? It wasn't like the number they said, so they kind of lied or whatever. Anyways, WoW was a good game I played back in the day. Kind of going along that same light, I think the future is definitely going to be subscription services. I don't think people are going to be into the whole paying $75 for a game and then playing it.
What about if their cloud gaming service, took off and they said, here's $75 for a device and you can play everything on the Xbox Game Pass library for the $10 a month. What do you think of that model?
I mean, honestly, like if I was a kid, right? Because I mean, let's face it, most of these games are targeted toward young people between the ages of 5 and 30, so to speak, right? If I was a kid and I was like 13 in middle school or whatever, high school, that would be doable. I save up my money, spend $75, $10 a month or whatever it may be.
It's getting harder to, maybe not, but I think it's getting harder to sell $500 plus console than it used to be.
Yeah.
I think, PC gaming is growing. I think it's many more people are comfortable looking into building their own PC for gaming. I think console gaming isn't going anywhere, but I also think the price point might not be worth it to a lot of people going forward. And honestly, I don't think Microsoft cares that much. I think they would rather have a subscription than a console sale.
Yeah, I mean, the subscription is a new hotness, right? Like, why get all this money at once when you could get consistent revenue over a long period of time, right? I mean, that's where all the software is going. Microsoft Office, Adobe Premiere Pro, SolidWorks, all these industrial applications. It's all subscription based. So
yeah, I mean, Office and all that stuff, like productivity services, that's responsible for something like 23% of Microsoft's income revenue. And I think gaming is only about 10 or 11%.
Yeah.
So I think if they can get the subscriptions to go up, which they certainly will with a bigger game library, then that could be switching. They could be taking much more money home from gaming. I mean, this $68.7 billion investment into gaming isn't just about capturing the revenue of those game studios as they are. It's to grow them and integrate them into the brand of Microsoft.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what do we have in the comments? Anything on this?
Yeah, by the way, guys, we're kind of at the end of the stream, so if you want to just add us or say anything or anything you want to ask us in chat, please add me. Yeah, now's a good time.
Now's the time. We're going to be wrapping up. Just sound off in the comments if you're still with us.
Yep. Taines, thanks for coming by, man. Good to see you here. RPN Chilled, how you doing, man? I think I've seen you around before. Hey, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so if you sound off, say anything you guys want, we can always answer. Yeah, just real quick while people are talking. I think, like, for example, I have Xbox Game Pass right now, and I could play Halo campaign for free because I keep getting these 3-month subscription nonsense things from, purchases of video cards or whatever. I think it's definitely going to be the way of the future. It's a way more consistent model, and I think the whole human psychology of, oh, it's just $10 a month. What? It's $500, and then I gotta pay $70 per game. Oh, $10 a month, and it's only $75. I could do that. Like, taking little bites is a lot more palatable for most people, especially with human malware going on.
Let me ask you this. Do you know why you signed up for Xbox Game Pass?
because you told me if I didn't, you'd hate me forever. No, I signed up for Xbox Game Pass because I wanted to play Halo Infinite.
Okay, but that's free to play, isn't it?
It's free to play, but I also wanted to play campaign.
Okay.
Campaign is not free to play. I wanted to.
So let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just buy the game?
Because the game was like $70.
Yeah,
$50 or whatever.
$70. Exactly. So it seems like a much better
stupid.
deal
Yeah.
to go for the subscription. I felt the same way. It was for me. It was Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020.
$70
like
for a game where you fly planes.
more than that, but I totally didn't want to spend however much. I want to say it was like $100 or $120 for like the premium platinum plus edition. But I was like, no way, because I've never really played a flight simulator, and I'm not doing that just to decide I don't. So I was like, I'll sign up for, I'll try it out on Xbox Game Pass, and if I like it, I'll sign up. And then it sort of just hit me that I can have access to all of these games for $10 a month, not just this one. And that's like, I can have a year of this service instead of the game. So it was kind of a no-brainer. And the thing is, if you're not playing a lot of games right now, you can cancel the service for a month or two and come back to it. But yeah, like you said, it's such a small amount relatively that it seems like something you can just write off. If you play a game for a few hours a month, it's probably worth it,
Well, on top of that, it gives you...
If you played at an arcade for 2 hours, you'd probably spend $20-$30.
Yep.
But
what are arcades?
Yeah, what are arcades? I haven't been outside in 2 years.
I was gonna say, real quick note on that. Yes, because paying for the subscription not only lets you play Halo Infinite, but every game in the Game Pass library, which that's kind of cool. Like, that's fine. Like, or I could just pay $70 and only play only Halo. It just seems like a better value, and I guess Microsoft is doing it right in that sense. They got me to pay for the pass, so they're getting consistent long-term revenue. Because there's also the thing where people forget to cancel their membership, right? So, I mean, we know that's like, I want to say that's at least 25% of the revenue system. People forgetting to cancel.
Yep. Or they sign up for the trial, and then on the 31st day they see the bill, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
For another month.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And then they already missed it, they're like, well, I might as well keep going because I got a whole month. And especially when they put those dumb clauses in there. Well, if you cancel right now, you forfeit the rest of your 30 days. And then you go, okay, I'll just remember to cancel it at 30 days, and you forget again.
Yeah, I think they're going away from that with most subscriptions. I think Hulu still does that, but I think most of the others do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my OnlyFans...
That's kind of shady. That's pretty shady.
Yeah, very shady.
All right. Let's, why don't we wrap up chat and wrap up the stream?
Yep, I'm going to look at chat real quick. Let's see.
Oh, by the way, real quick, if you guys could let us know in the live chat how the quality of the stream is tonight. We made some adjustments and want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, we, for those of you that are able to, you should be able to stream this live in 4K. We did a lot of work in the background, me and Andrew, to ensure the stream quality is Aladdin. If you guys know who I am, you would know what that means. So some goblin loser IDK says, TekShinji, much love, Papa Fishy. I wasted this last tag on you. You didn't waste anything, my friend. You are fine. We got 3 orange hearts. Thank you so much for the hearts. I'm looking. CryptoShape says, what is this Halo game? CryptoShape, I think you played Halo for the first time in like 10 years last night, and I think you might have had to take out the special accelerants to keep you glued to the game, right? It was pretty fast paced. I think you enjoyed it though. I think you had a lot of fun. Let's see. I don't really see anything else in here. So we're going to go into the closing portion unless people have some questions. Soul7, hey man, thanks for being here. I see you a lot in the TekShinji Discord, so thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. I know you're probably at work on that poverty connection that they give you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, man. I know you get like 5 kilobits, and of that 5 you're using 4 on us, so I appreciate it so much. RPN chilled says quality 1080p looking. That's great. So I guess it's working. For sure. System load is at 60% on both GPUs. CPU load's only at 30%. Not bad.
All right, in closing, you guys should definitely check out the link in the description. Join our Discord if you're not already. And if you are in the Discord, you should probably talk a bit more, because there are some cool things coming as you level up. And we don't want to give any spoilers yet, but maybe next week's stream will announce some things.
Yeah, so if you notice the level system has changed slightly, just take a quick look. Those of you that are already in bronze, don't worry about it. You aren't going to be de-leveled, but it's going to get harder to get into bronze. Then bronze plus has gotten a lot easier to get into. So, again, Andrew doesn't want me to spoil anything.
I think we've given away too much already.
Have we?
So,
okay.
Yeah, you might want to just start posting and leveling up while you can, because you're going to be, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder to level up, and with levels will come some perks that I think at least most of the people in the Discord will enjoy, and that's all I'm going to say, right?
That's all we should say. Next week we could reveal more. There's a big plan in the works.
We have one more super chat that we need to announce and thank.
Yeah, Serpent X Tex sent $2. It's the bird Superman hero thing with their sidekick on the ground. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Serpent X Tech. We did a lot of collaborations back in the day. 2 or 3, I think. We did a lot of collaborations back in the day. Go check those videos out, guys. They will be linked if you're watching this in post after the live stream. They will be linked in a card or in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone joining us. Again, just like Andrew said, come join our Discord. That is linked in the description below. If you join and you find it to be a little difficult, there's also a video on our channel that shows how to get into it. It's called, Hey, I Got a Discord Now. That shows you a step-by-step process of how to get in. I know it can be confusing, but it's like that for a reason. Trust me, guys. It's a great Discord. We got a lot of great people there, and a lot of the riffraff is kept out because of our verification system. So come by and check us out. We will see you there. Let's see. I think that's it.
That's it. I think so.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the 3rd episode of the Tek Torrent Podcast. I'm your host, TekShinji, and you have been joined by our lovely intern, Andrew. Thanks so much for coming by. We'll see you in the next one.